Alright, welcome back to codezing.org. Level 3 game today, Smoke or Fire. It's a card game. You can find it at codezing.org /smoke_fire. Let's navigate over. Go to codezing.org, level 3, Smoke or Fire. So if you've never played Smoke or Fire, you just take a deck of cards, you flip them over. So you have the player guess first whether they think it's going to be Smoke, a black card, or Fire, a red card. And you flip it over. If they guess correctly, you give them the card. If not, then you keep the card and you kind of keep going. You run through the deck once and see whether they got more right or wrong. So that's what this does. It draws a random card. You guess whether it's Smoke or Fire, and then it'll keep score for you. Player versus the computer. So pick Smoke. This is not it's the 5 of diamonds, which is Fire. So the computer gets a point. So Smoke, so the computer gets another point. I finally got a point. And you can keep going. It's a little, random. See how many you can get right. Alright, kind of neat. So how do we do that? I think this is kind of fun because it's a little bit of the basis of a lot of different card games. Right? You got to build a deck of cards. You got to deal cards and keep track of what happened. So if this one seems a little simplistic, it's a good one to build on for more complex card games. If you wanted to do that later, and it takes a bit of work. So let's grab the code. So you click on the button, it displays it for you. Copy your code. Head over to Spider, paste that in. So if you don't have Spider or Python, head back to the website and follow the links. And you should probably start at level 1, not level 3. But maybe you just don't have Python on the particular computer. But you know some of the basics. Head back to the website, follow the links, get it installed. So Spider is our IDE, our interactive development environment. It's just a separate set of software. It's open source, but it allows you to interact with Python. Write it simple, easy. It does some error checking for you. Gives you the display console. Easier than doing it in a text editor, I think. So, all right, here we go. So the first line, import random. Seen that a lot. It's going to pick a random card. Obviously, it's going to do random samples down here. That's been in I think almost every game we've built so far. So we're well used to that one. Here it's creating some variables, right? Some stuff that we need at the beginning to keep track of things during the game. So the first one is a score dictionary, and you can see it has 2 keys, player score and computer score, and then the value is equal to 0. As a player gets it right or wrong, it'll change the values, increase them depending on who wins. So we got a score dictionary. We are building a deck of cards. So we have all of the card letters, ace, king, queen, jack, and then all of the numbers down to 2, and the suits, hearts, spades, diamonds, and clubs. The yes answers and no answers are going to come in for interacting with the user, and it's just a list of all of the ways that a user might want to type in yes or no, so that way your game isn't so fragile. When it asks them if they want to play again, they can type in any of these Y's or N's, or even just a blank, which would just be hitting enter, will be a yes answer, and then all the no's, so that it's not, if you limit it to like capital Y, if they type in anything but capital Y, it'll break the game. So this gives it a little more robustness. Same thing with when the player is going to enter Smoke or Fire. It's kind of all the logical variations of entering Smoke or Fire, so that it can handle, makes it more robust, less likely to break on the user inputting the wrong value. Here at the top of the game, we're going to enter play again equals true. So we're going to start with the assumption that they want to play again, and unless they put in a no answer, it'll continue to play in this while loop. So it'll deal 1 card, and then ask them if they want to play again. If they do, then it'll keep play again as true. If not, it'll set it to false, and it'll end this while loop. At the beginning, it's going to print out just some general instructions to the user, which is always good. I think in a lot of the games I haven't done that, just because it adds a lot of lines to the code, and most of the games are so simple, everybody knows how to play them, but with Smoke or Fire, I don't know, that's so common. So a little bit of instruction at the beginning of your game is always good to the user. This just prints out how to play the game. Then it starts the gaming loop. Right, play again is true. We set it to true, so it's going to loop through this while loop until play again is equal to false. So it's going to run through all the code and get to the end. If play again is still true, it'll keep looping, which is what we want. So first things first, we need the player's guess before we can deal them a card. So input will display guess smoke or fire to the console and take their guess and set it equal to the variable player underscore guess. The computer is going to draw a random card after that. So it's going to take a random sample of the cards and a random sample of the suits. So it'll pick randomly from these two lists that we defined before the game started. The next step is to figure out what the right answer is. So it's going to look at the computer suit that we drew, and if computer suit is equal to clubs or spades, which are the two black cards, it's going to make the correct answer smoke. If not, then it would have been a red card, right? It would have been, if it's not clubs or spades, it would have been diamonds or hearts, and that would make it equal to fire. So this is an if this is true, make it smoke. Otherwise, make it equal to fire. Equivalently, you could do, you could do another if statement, but then it just makes the code longer, right? You could do if equals hearts or diamonds, right? If it's clubs or spades, it's smoke. If it's hearts or diamonds, fire. A simpler way is the original way it was with the else statement. The next step is if the player guess is in smoke answers and the correct answer is smoke. So if they entered any of these, right? If they entered capital S, lower S, smoke, smoke, smoke. If they entered it, any of those, and the correct answer is smoke, then they got it right, and it'll print correct, and it ups their score in the score dictionary by 1. So it's going to look at the score dictionary, find the key player score, and then increase the value by 1. And it will give a little more feedback. The card was the blank or the blank of blank. Looks like I did that each time. Little typo in there. The card was the blank of blank, and it's going to put the card value and the suit value in the two blanks with our dot format. So it'll drop the card value and the suit value in the two blanks there. It's going to go on and check. So that was one way the game could be played, that the correct answer was smoke and they entered smoke. Next it's going to do if the player guessed fire and it was fire, then that's also correct. And it's going to do the same kind of 3 steps here. Up the player score by 1 and then print that they were correct and what the card value was. Otherwise, so it's going to do if smoke was the choice and smoke was correct. Next it's going to do if fire was the guess and fire was correct. Else, obviously the player didn't get it right and the computer wins. So any other combination, the computer is going to win, and we're going to increase the computer score by 1 and print wrong guess and then tell them what the card was. At the end it's what the card was. At the end it's going to print out kind of a cumulative score, so the player knows their score, the running total, and then it's going to run through the do you want to play again loop. So we're setting valid answer to false, and we're going to loop through until valid answer is true. So do you want to play again is the query, and we're set that equal to play again as a variable. If play again is in the yes answers, then play again will be true, which continues this outer loop that we have and sets valid answer to true so that it doesn't ask again if you want to play again. So this stops the ask to play again, and this continues the actual game loop. If the play again answer that the user supplied is in the no answers, then it's going to print out good game and a final score. And if the player score is greater than the computer score, it'll tell you you won. it's going to set play again and valid answer, or it's going to set play again to false because it wants to stop this outer loop of playing over and over. And it's going to set valid answer to true to stop the questioning of whether they want to play again. And if the valid answer is false, meaning that they didn't enter something that was in the yes answers and they didn't enter something that was in the no answers, then valid answer is false still. It'll tell you it was an invalid answer and ask you again and again and again until you say yes or no. So let's give it a run and see what happens. Let's expand this a little so we can see. So we got the instructions, asks you if you're ready to play, tells you what to guess, and so you make your first guess, and you can see that I can answer any of these. So we'll start with a capital S, and you can see that's valid, and it said it was correct. The card was the ace of clubs, and now my score is +1 to 0. Do I want to play again? See, I can enter any of these. If I put in yes, then it will play again, and I can enter, instead of capital S, I can enter, lowercase smoke, and it'll accept that as well. So that's a wrong guess because the hearts is fire, and the computer got a point. And now to do a little quality assurance, we can try entering stuff that doesn't make sense. So if I enter that, the invalid answer, do I want to play again? If I put in numbers, right, it says that's invalid. So by making this a list and asking, is it one of these? Is it included in this list? Otherwise, it's not valid, is a simple way to exclude a bunch of ways. Because what if I was typing yes and then accidentally hit some extra letters, right? Then it just asks you if you want to play again. It doesn't break the game. If I say yes, it'll let me play again. Same thing if I enter nonsense. Oh, it did like that. Wrong guess. Card was the ace of diamonds. So maybe there's a little bug in there. Maybe you guys can go back through and figure out why, when I asked guess smoke or fire, and I answered :LKAJSDF, it thought that was fine. It must be in here. Player guess in smoke answers. Oh, else. So there isn't really anything in here for, I guess my else is a little too broad. So it's checking if it's in smoke answers or fire answers, but my did you get it wrong doesn't include did you enter something crazy. So maybe there needs to be a little bit of like a valid answer loop before it does the assessment. But you can see it's easy to write a code and you think, wow, that works great, and you play it because as the creator, you are entering the right way to play the game. Right? You're always entering the S and the F and continuing to play and having fun. And then you give it over to your friend, and the first thing they do is type in nonsense, and you watch your game break, right? So, it's always good to let other people play your games, see what they try to do with it, watch the ways that they break it, and think back through how to fix those types of things. So a little bit of work to do on entering nonsense for smoke or fire, but pretty comprehensive example, lots of stuff going on in here. If you have any questions, you can email info@codezing.org or add comments to the end of the video. If you do manage to fix this, that would be awesome. You can email me the code, the fix that you have for it, and we'll post that to the website. I can put up a second version, smoke or fire fixed or something, and we'll give you credit, and we'll help people learn how to tackle these challenges. Sometimes it can be a little tricky to figure out, but have fun with it, and